Welcome to Good Burger Reviews. My name is John, and I'm here to review a brand new 2025 movie. And that movie is a Netflix original, The Great Flood. This movie is starring Kim Da-mi, Park Hae-soo, Lee Hak-jo. It is directed by Kim Byung-woo. It was released to Netflix in December of 2025. It is a South Korean science fiction disaster film. This is another movie that seems to be having an identity crisis. The question is it a disaster end of the world flick? Is it an AI science fiction flick? Or is it one of those gaming repeating day movies?
Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
So let me put it to you this way. This movie is the combination of Deep Impact meets Until Dawn meets Companion. And talk about another movie with a bunch of odd blends. But all those movies seem to find their way to put their themes and plot devices in this one. Now, the way it was advertised and the way it looks on Netflix, it definitely looks like a movie that is like a disaster flick. It's called The Great Flood. It's the end of the world. And this movie opens up to a young girl with her young boy in her apartment, and they're about to be consumed by a rising waters and the flooding sea. Now, from what we understand is that an asteroid hits Antarctica, which causes all the ice caps to melt and cause the oceans to rise super high so that there is this giant flood. Is it something like Noah and the Ark? Nah, maybe. There's no animals in pairs.
The end. God is going to wipe it all out.
Well, this movie started off okay being an end-of-the-world flick. I will say that the CGI and the special effects on this are mid-range. It's just... This is one of those movies where you need top-tier type of special effects, especially when you have an end-of-the-world movie. When you have mid-grade special effects, it's just so obvious that it's not what you're seeing, and it just takes you out of it a little bit. Now, the movie seemed to be going fine until all of a sudden I started getting these Companion and Until Dawn, and maybe even more than Until Dawn, but Groundhog Day, like the day that repeats itself movie, which was present in Until Dawn.
And that must mean that we're up here at Gobbler's Knob, waiting for the forecast from the world's most famous groundhog weatherman, Punxsutawney Phil, who's just about to tell us how much more winter we can expect.
So for me, in the positives, I always like an end-of-the-world flick. No matter how crusty the special effects might be, I like the tension, the drama, the excitement, the running, the panic, the buildings collapsing, and all the people falling, and all that type of stuff in a movie. Like we saw in movies like Deep Impact, Armageddon, The Day After Tomorrow, 2012. I mean, the list of end-of-the-world movies goes on and on. This movie also, which gives me the vibe of two movies that were released over the summer, Brick and Zeom, both to Netflix, were movies that were dubbed into English. And I was impressed with Brick and Zeom because for parts of the movie, I wasn't even sure if it was dubbed. But then I came to realize that it was a dubbed movie and the people were actually speaking other languages. This movie was the same thing, and I could tell it right out the gate. And this movie had the very same feel with the special effects being subpar and stuff like that. Another thing with this movie was that took me out of it was there was so much things that didn't make physical sense. This is a movie about a big flood, and it primarily takes place in this apartment building. And as the water's rising, it seems like when she's under the water, it's like she's under the ocean. It's like there's nothing below the building that's would technically be floating if there was that much water under it. But when she rises up, the building's completely stable, and it looks like the flood's just beginning. So there's like continuity issues. But it seems like there was lots of things like this where things weren't making physically sense. Another scene where the water's rising really fast, but then as it gets to her, it's only just rising a little bit. because obviously it's the CGI where we get the downward shot of the water rising, but then it's another shot of her just swimming in the rising water. Now there's a lot of this that repeats itself where it's not making physical sense. And then on top of that, this movie complicates itself with all these other plots going on. So like I said, there was a part of the movie that felt like the movie Companion.
There have been two moments in my life when I was happiest. The first was the day I met Josh.
I'm Josh.
I'm Iris. And the second, the day I killed him.
So the companion part comes in, or the AI part comes in with our main character, the girl, Guyana, if I'm saying that correctly. Guyana, let's just call her Anna. Anna is like this scientific girl. She's like an experimenting in AI creation. And there's this whole subplot about she's developing a species of AI people so that if the flood destroys everyone, humanity can come back recreated as like AI people. So like her son's about to be killed, but if she can develop this one gene that makes him come back, then he'll be back, but it won't really be him. He'll really be dead, but it'll be like an AI version of him living once the flood goes away.
Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
Now this whole companion part, this whole AI part just gets mentioned a lot, and it seems to be a driving force of what she's doing, but there's not much to it. They don't really explore anything AI as far as people. Now it definitely seems like there's more of a sci-fi thing going on and less of a disaster piece going on. And that's where the Groundhog Day meets Until Dawn comes in as well. Because all of a sudden, we flash back to the beginning of the day where she's waking up in bed with her young son, and the day starts to repeat itself. And she starts going through this Groundhog Day experience where she's going through the same motions, the same catastrophes, bumping into the same other people in this apartment complex. But it doesn't unravel like Groundhog Day. It's like she's a little blurry on her memory, and it's like the only thing that really clues us to this, besides the fact that we can see it, is like she's got a number on her shirt. And the number on her shirt represents how many times she's gone through this scenario before. And the numbers are getting really high, really fast. So like in Groundhog Day and Until Dawn, it's always like the next day. But like this, it's like multiple days, thousands and thousands of days. Like these numbers on her shirt get into 5 digits. Over 20,000 days pass before she can solve this end of the world sci-fi crazy companion mystery that we have going on. And that's what gives this movie an overstuffed feeling, because there's just too much going on with it. There's just too many things trying to keep up with the days, the characters. There's not that many characters, but there's a lot of side characters, and like there's people that are escaping this building, and they are playing a role in such that's affecting what she's doing and affecting her memory. And again, with all these things going on, it's not always making sense because they don't stick by the rules. It's like not the same rules every time she comes back.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
And each time we come back and we see her number bumped up, it's like it's shorter segments of it. So sometimes it jumps and you don't even realize, except for you see the number on her shirt's changed. And that's when it started giving me more of an Until Dawn vibe. It felt like a video game. Like you start the day, you start the game, you go until you die. And it's the same exact thing. We saw this in Happy Death Day as well.
Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
So this movie has pacing issues because it just seems like it keeps going on and on. It's like I felt like we're in a third act. I felt like it's winding down. And it just seems like there's another ending, and then another extension of another ending, and another thing that goes on where she's trying to solve what's going on with saving her son, saving the world, and trying to make humanity live, but it just gets too complicated with all the AI and repeating days stuff. At the end of the day, this one had a very interesting premise. I felt like this movie, they should have went all in. This should have either been a big budget movie, make it make sense, and it really could have been pulled off a lot better. So it comes down to just lack of execution and probably lack of budget. And then you also throw in the fact that it's one of those auto dub movies, which the auto dub voices weren't as convincing in this one. So the acting was kind of rough. So I'm going to get down to business on this one. This one, if you're really into sci-fi, AI, end of the world flicks, which I can't even think of another movie that has all that going on in it, but like, I'm not going to recommend this one. This one for me is a veggie burger. I couldn't even give an example of another movie that if you like that movie, you might like this movie. I mean, I guess that's one thing it has going for it. It's got its own subgenre, because I don't even know what category. Like I said, this movie's having an identity crisis. It got too complicated and too long in the end. Don't forget to stay scared of those giant floods